Today we are going to see how to create a design or factory design in Factory IO. Okay, this is our goal for today. Here I have a conveyor, one emitter, two remover, and a small control panel. Okay, so some things to know while working in Factory IO. To move around in Factory IO, you have three. One is orbit camera, one is fly camera, one is human. Okay, in fly camera you can move around left right using left right forward and reverse navigation keys, while mouse scrolling will raise your eye level up down. Okay, it is easy to move in this orbit camera. To rotate above your perspective, click on the point of focus. Like here I am using a conveyor edge. Okay, once I click that, that's my point of rotation. Better will be understand, you will work with orbit camera. Orbit camera is very easy to work. Using navigation keys to move left, right, front, back, and using double click at a point of object to pan and rotate. Okay. Now coming back to our industrial design. I have one conveyor, one emitter, two removers, okay, and a control panel. This control panel has emergency button, a forward light when conveyor is moving forward, a reverse light when conveyor moves reverse, a forward switch, stop switch, and a reverse switch. So today we are going to create this design in Factory IO. To create a scene in Factory IO, start Factory IO. When Factory IO opens, you have this documentation and tutorial. You can go through these documentations, what are functions available in Factory IO, some small simpler examples, and you also have already created industrial scenes. This some simplest to complex industry designs, application designs. Okay, and your saved scenes will be in my scene. I have created some examples. So now let's create a new one. New. Okay. So this is my factory floor. Completely empty. Here is this palette window. In this palette window, you have all the parts, necessary parts to create your industry design. Okay. So what we needed? We need one conveyor. Okay. You can go through all or you can go through individual section wise. So I'm going through section wise. Light load part. Okay, here I have different conveyor size conveyors. Pick one, just drag and drop. Okay, now see this white dot here, that's my point of focus. If I want to change my point of focus, I just need to double click at that point right here. Now my point of focus is there. To move around, press mouse scroll button and you can move this. You can also move with navigation keys. Okay, zoom in, zoom out. Everything will be done here on your point of focus. Now let's move further. Here is my conveyor. This conveyor can be operated in two manner. Select conveyor, right click and you see this window configuration. Okay, here three options: digital, digital plus minus and analog. When you are using digital, okay, this conveyor, each conveyor has this little symbol. See this? This is the direction of conveyor, primary direction. When this output will be on, conveyor will move in this direction. Okay, now I want this conveyor to move in both directions. So what I will do? I will right click it and select digital plus and minus. Okay, when I select digital plus and minus, there's you select actuator tags. Okay, here is a sensor tags for all the inputs in your industry and here is that all the outputs. When I click actuator tags, see these two. Okay, these two tags appearing. Right click here and point of focus. Okay, so this is my plus and this is my minus. When this actuator or output is on, conveyor will move towards me. When this will be on, conveyor will move away from me. Okay, so these are the two. After that, what we needed? We needed two items. Okay, emitter to create or place some part on this conveyor. So go to all, and here you have emitter. You can see here, okay, emitter, it states emitter. Pick it and just move around it. Okay, here in 3D view you have to look for your perspective, different angles. Okay, now I have placed it in somewhere middle. Now, very important, let's see what emitter can do. Okay, select emitter and right click. Now here also have configuration. One configuration is user defined and one configuration is control defined. When you need to insert part or simulate some placing of part through your PLC or other controls, you select control defined. By default it is user defined. While it is in user defined, we have two options: base to emit, part to emit. Bases are what? These. Okay, these are your bases, base object, and these are your parts. Okay, palletizing box, small box, medium box, large box, blue raw material. These are parts, and these are your bases. So I want it to emit only pallet. Okay, not square pallet, not stackable box, only pallet, small pallet. Selected only pallets. Parts to emit. Now it has four different types of part. I don't want all this. I want singular type of part, that is medium size box. So deselect. If you have selected multiple, it will randomly insert these all parts randomly. Okay, any random occasions. After that, max time and minimum time. What is this max time? Max time is the time difference between two part insertion. When it is max and minimum time is same, it will insert part exactly that difference time, that is 1 second. If I create 2 2 seconds, then both part will be emitted at 2 seconds interval. If I have done 2 and 1, then that can be emitted either 2 or either 1, any. So choosing it up to your choosing, there can be difference created. Okay, now this is my configuration. Similarly, when conveyor is moving, part is there on the conveyor, it will either move in this direction or in this direction. So I have to remove that part, I have to create an something like remover which can carefully remove that. Okay, now here you are noticing there is a vertical line. This vertical line is vertical position. You can only drag object at same height level, but you cannot move up and down. To move up and down, right click and vertical translation. When you select vertical translation, now it can be moved up and down. So I have moved it down. Okay, now drag and drop. So here I have set this object right below this conveyor. So when the part will be here dropped, it will be automatically removed. Now you can add another one from here, or you can copy it. To copy it, select your part, hold your alt key and drag it. Okay, this will copy your part. Okay, this is my conveyor setup, emitter and remover for either direction. Now control panel. To control panel, go to operators. Okay, here I have a pole to mount my control panel, so drag and drop it. Okay, this is my control box. Now it is in this direction. To move it or rotate it, use R, Y and T. If you will right click, you will show what works. Okay, I have to rotate it 180 degree, so I will use Y, 90 and 180 degree. Now I want this control panel to at higher level. So right click, vertical translation and raise your level. Okay, now drag it. Okay, see, it is going through, but when it detect an object it will stop temporarily. If you force it, it will go through. Now I want to just here. Now I want these two boxes as a singular unit, so click here, hold your control key and click this, add to as a group. Now these two different objects are essentially one. You can drag and drop them anywhere, anyhow. Rotate it this, and let's place it in sideways. You cannot here. Okay, now this is good. Now what I needed an emergency switch. So create a little oblique view to have a depth perception. Okay, here rotate it. Okay, it is on my box. I want it a little higher, so right click, vertical, and nudge it around. Yes, that's okay. Okay, so it is there. Now two lights. Okay, so these are light indicators. I want green indicators. Again, just nudge it. Here it is. Okay, I want this to be two lights. So select, press Alt and drag. Okay, slide it as this place. Now three switches. One is for forward motion, one is for reverse motion, and one is for stop. So here are buttons. Okay, so it's going. Here you have to look around to get gauge correct perspective if that object is on the body or not. I want this one more button. Try again. Okay. So essentially this is your design. Now, okay, we have used actuator to get our tags for outputs. Now we'll click sensor to get the tags for input. Okay, you can essentially name them as your liking. Like for this conveyor, I don't want this to belt conveyor 6 plus. I want this just forward. Click it here, rename it conveyor. Here it is conveyor. Similarly for this conveyor reverse. To emitter, let's let it remain emitter. Get back to our inputs and outputs. Okay, where is it about? Change it back to same perspective. Here it is emergency stop. Let's suggest emergency stop, not nothing zero. Here it is green light indicator. I don't want green light indicator. I want it conveyor forward light. Okay, light. This one is where reverse light. Okay, now what remains? Yes, this one, start button. Okay, so I am saying forward switch. This one is stop. This one, okay, reverse switch. Okay, now all this has been docked in your screen. You can use see the status. Okay, emergency is an NC type switch, so it is here showing on. Similarly, our stop button is an NC type switch, so it is showing on. Okay, everything else is either off or dark. Let's turn off this sensor and actuator type. Okay, so here you have completely created your first scene in factory IO. Now you don't necessarily need a PLC in hand to check your machine working. Okay, you can do it without any PLC program or any other control. Click run. Okay, once you are in run mode, okay, see this emitter has already emitted. Now until and unless this part moves away from here, it will not create another part. So let's say I start conveyor forward. Okay, I have started conveyor forward, so conveyor started forwarding. Here it is in as a forced. Why forced? Because I am doing it without control panel forcefully. Now this is parts are coming too close by. Let's turn this off and click on emitter and increase that time like 3 and 3. Okay, run again. See this first part is there, and after some wait time second part is there. Okay, now let's turn off this forward, turn on reverse. Okay, so those pallets are moving reverse. Coming to the control panel, essentially I have not created any controls here, so we cannot see the working of this, like conveyor, when conveyor is for moving forward or reverse, these two lights are on, or emergency, but we can see their status in here. Like if I push forward switch, see this forward switch is turning on. If I press reverse switch, it is turning on, means input status you are getting from that factory IO. Stop button, because it is an NC, output will input signal will be off. Similarly your emergency, press it, emergency, release. Okay, so here is our first factory IO scene creation. To remove all this, go to view and clear dock tags. Turn off run mode and you are done with your first factory IO scene. I will give one more example, a little complicated one later there, and then we will go through our control programs. Like in I have two PLCs, one is Mitsubishi and other is Siemens, so I will go through both of them.